In the late 19th century, the concepts of heterosexuality and homosexuality emerged, fundamentally reshaping societal views on sexual identity. The Austro-Hungarian poet Karl Maria Kertbeny first coined these terms in 1869, but their implications were far from what we recognize today. Initially, the term heterosexual was linked to what were considered abnormal manifestations of sexual appetite, including attraction to both sexes. Richard von Krafft-Ebing, a prominent sexologist, later defined heterosexual sex as the union between a man and a woman, emphasizing procreative desires. Yet, even by 1901, when Dorland's medical dictionary was published, heterosexual sex was still viewed as an abnormal appetite for the opposite sex. This evolving definition would eventually settle into a more accepted understanding of heterosexuality as desire between opposite sexes. Our current understanding of these terms is influenced by the biases of early sexologists, predominantly white, Western men who define normal and abnormal sexual behaviors through the lens of their societal context. They operated within a framework that positioned men as dominant and women as passive. Krafft-Ebing's assertion that
woman, if physically and mentally normal and properly educated, has but little sensual desire,
starkly contrasts with Enlightenment views that acknowledge women's natural sexual appetites. During this period, behaviors outside of procreative heterosexual sex became labeled as perversions. Practices such as oral sex, masturbation, and homosexuality were categorized as deviant. This classification was largely driven by psychologists, psychiatrists, and psychoanalysts who sought to define normal versus abnormal sexual lives, incorporating insights from medicine, biology, and sociology. As societal perspectives shifted, acts once deemed sinful were increasingly viewed as medical conditions. This revolutionary idea reframed individuals engaging in these behaviors from sinners to perverts or psychopaths. As people sought help from sexologists, these specialists aimed to cure those whose preferences deviated from the norm, claiming their work was a scientific study of sexuality. Krafft-Ebing's influential work, Psychopathia Sexualis, first published in 1886, was directed at fellow physicians and legal professionals rather than the general public. It underwent numerous editions and translations, playing a crucial role in establishing modern sexual pathology. His case studies included individuals who committed serious crimes, like lust murderers and rapists, well as those with less severe conditions such as voyeurism and fetishism. Krafft-Ebing's theories posited that perverted behavior stemmed from mental instability and societal pressures, suggesting that modernity contributed to a decline in moral fiber. This marked a departure from previous beliefs that focused on moral failings, reflecting a growing inclination to medicalize sexual behavior. The evolution of the terms heterosexual and homosexual and the subsequent medicalization of sexuality reveal a complex interplay of cultural, societal, and scientific influences. As we examine these historical perspectives, it becomes clear that our understanding of sexual behavior is deeply rooted in the biases and ideologies of past scholars. Unpacking these influences is essential for comprehending the nuances of sexual identity in both historical and contemporary contexts.